artillery, yeah, we too real. King with the stats, coach with the smoke. WTF Nation, laugh till you choke. Wednesday, heat, 8 p.m., no debate. Sports Bar Nation, we never show up late. This is the Sports Bar. Wednesday nights we go hard. Veterans strong and we stand tall. WTF Nation, we run the ball. Hey, hey, turn the lights on. It's Sports Bar, come get your hype on. Hey, turn the lights on. It's Sports Bar, come get your hype on. WTF Nation, Wednesday domination. King and coach in rotation. The Sports Bar's sensation. From kickoff to buzzer beaters, we break it all down. Wednesday 8 p.m. the live show in town. It's the Sports Bar where legends hang out. WTF Nation Radio. We are.
We just gonna go right into it, as I still have not fixed our intro. What's up? What's good? What's happening? Welcome to the Sports Bar here at WTF Nation Radio. Radio. I am one half of this thing, King, U.S. Air Force veteran, aka Flyboy Smitty, aka nobody had beat me in Sports Bar trivia yet, aka it's a Wednesday night. So let's get right with King and Coach. Coach, let the people know something.
What do you hear? What do you hear? What do you say? Nobody's beating you on that because, well, that's because I'm not playing it. That's why.
Oh, this is what. Hey, you know what? Maybe one of these days we can have an automated setup type situation going on, and we could test that.
I'd still have to come up with the questions, which means I know the answers already.
Well, look.
Hey, real quick, happy retirement, Brock Lesnar. Going back to last week's show, told you something was going to happen. Happy retirement, Mr. Lesnar.
We talked about it and we called it. We are going to give a WrestleMania recap tonight. We also are going to talk about the upcoming NFL draft. I think the first couple of picks are pretty much a known fact.
Oh, dear God. No, they're not, because the Jets are going to fuck it up.
Oh, all right. Let's see what you have to say about that. We are also going to talk about it's not how you start, it's how you finish, as there is a viral clip going around that is of a man that is running a Delaware marathon and his phenomenal sprint to the end, in which it looked like somebody else had the race in the bag. But again, it's not how you start, it's how you finish, or at least that's what she said. And Coach, I just had a note from one of our associate producers. They said that you can be seen through that Finch.
Oh, yeah, I mean, just a little, you know. You can see just a tad bit of me. You know, I'm letting everybody know a little bit more about me than what they already have, so I'm okay with that. Yeah. Look, I mean, you know, you can see my nose now. You can see a little bit part of my mouth, but not the whole thing. Just saying.
Now, Coach, I'm going to go out and come back in. I'm going to need you to talk to the people real quick. There's something going on that isn't going to allow us to be able to chat, and I'm going to see if I can fix it real quick. So give the people something. I'll be right back.
I got you. Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, first I want to thank you all again for coming in and tuning in on the Sports Bar on Wednesday. And we're coming to you live on YouTube, X, and Facebook. We are coming to you across WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments. So we are also broadcasting 6 nights. Now I take it 7 days, but 6 nights during the week, 7 days, Monday through Friday, or Saturday and Sunday as well on WTF Nation Radio and U.S. Army WTF Moments. Tonight is us with the Sports Bar. our buddies over on the Smoke Pit. Radar, he'll be coming back with something else here soon, but he's taking a little bit of hiatus, so there's no show following us. On Thursday, we got Sarn's Time with Ice, and Ice has had some great topics to talk about. Obviously, some new ones that are going to be coming out this week. Definitely want to check him out tomorrow. On Friday, we have every other week, we have FTX. I believe FTX is going on this week. Isn't that correct, King?
Yes, that is correct.
All right. Yeah, we got you on that. So, hey, no problem there. We got FTX coming up on this week. Y'all want to check that out, even though, King now has a WWE trading card for him, which is rather funny. All right. He'll be a jobber. His second job should have been like the Gobbledygooker or Bastion Booger. But anyway, and then on Saturday, we have FTX with Nemo. He's playing whatever games out there. You all can watch Leroy Jenkins play as much as often. On Sunday, we have the the reset with Dr. J. And Dr. J, I hope you're feeling better. She'll be back hopefully this Sunday with a new episode of the reset, talking about your mental health, talking about how to take care of yourself. And speaking of your mental health and taking care of yourself, that leads into relationships. And then some dude, his ugly ass, shows up with a very beautiful woman on Monday nights. I guess that ugly dude is King, and that beautiful woman is Michelle. And they are on The King and Me, which happens at 7 o'clock every Monday. And then immediately after that, that comes up with the Monday edition with Ice again. And then on Tuesday, missed him last night, but then Pop Culture Warrior will be back on next Tuesday, hopefully. Got some great things in pop culture that's coming out. New trailers are coming out from movies. Spaceballs 2 will be coming out in April 23rd, 2027. And I will be there on the opening night. And if we can ever get backstage passes or advanced screenings. What the fuck was that?
I was trying to set up in the background, and I didn't realize all of my video was going to get caught.
You're good, man. You're good. But yeah, hey, CQ, if you're watching this, or if you're watching the replay, and if you're watching the replay of us, well, you really have no life. But if you are watching this replay, let's get I will gladly report from the opening night or the advanced screening of Spaceballs, the new one. I will even dress up as Dark Helmet if I can get the advanced screening one. So, yep.
That would be dope, man. Content is content. We're also going to announce that we are in talks with a military, I think he's still active duty, a guy that does bare knuckle combat. And I checked out his stuff. The guy is good. He had a really big win here. We're in talks. I want to try to get him live so that we can interview him, have the people ask him questions and things like that. I've communicated with him directly. He wants to come on. He reached out to us. He wants to come on. So I'm excited to have that going. It'll be technically our second interview, as we have one with a former wrestler called KT King that y'all should go back and hear, as he was a part of the viral story that included Rampage Jackson's son, Raja Jackson. Yeah. He was directly around for that, not involved, but around for that, and caught some heat for the fallout from that. So we've got some pretty interesting stuff coming up here at WTF Nation Radio / US Army WTF Moments. Next week is going to be trivia. It is going to be trivia, and we are going to announce that, as Coach will be going to a coaching clinic for about 2 weeks, so his mug will be missed. So tune in for.
Well, I'll be here next week, and I'll be doing the trivia. But then, after that, it will be 2 weeks.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. So we're gonna.
Trivia. I thought you said I'd be gone in 2 weeks. I'm like, no, wait a minute, hold on. That's 2 weeks from now. I'll be gone for 2 weeks.
I might have said that, but I didn't mean
it. All good, man.
Going for 2 weeks. So I'm also saying that if anybody wants to come on and show Coach how it's done, shoot me an email address at king@WTFNationRadio.com. You can come on and be a co-host here at the Sports Bar at WTF Nation Radio. I will put that in the chat.
Show people how it's done.
WTFNationRadio.com.
Just for that one, I'm actually going to take my WTF hat off tonight, and I'm going to put this on for my daughter, who might not be watching tonight, but I'm putting this one hat on right now. Yes, I am wearing a Fayetteville State University Broncos old school hat. I feel like I'm in the 80s, and I'm 50 years old wearing this type of hat right now. But yeah, man, this is an old school one, old school fit. But yeah, it's even got the tweed on there, man. Yeah, it's that
Wow,
old school. That's an old
that
school
has
one.
hot. I'm sweating thinking about wearing the cap. That's
Oh man,
made.
I got a fan over here that's pointed on right now. That's why, most of I got now I just pointed it directly on me, and hopefully you don't hear it in the background. But yeah, I've got a fan pointed on me right now. I'm okay, man. I ain't got to worry about any of that shit.
All right, let's go right into the WrestleMania 42 recap. I watched a good bit of WrestleMania and I was entertained. The general wrestling fans was also entertained as well. I thought who played up above what was expected was the young kid I Show Speed. I Show Speed looked phenomenal. And that final move that he did, jumping off of the pylon onto one of the Paul brothers, as high as he was, landing on him, I was like, my first thought was there is no flipping way that my body would have sustained that without having some type of major injury. So that was my big take from it. We talked a little bit earlier about Brock Lesnar. So give me your recap of WrestleMania 42. Were there any surprises and anything that you thought should have gone differently?
So I did research a little regarding this because I knew we were going to end up talking about it. And I will tell you that I did not watch WrestleMania at all. Okay. I haven't watched wrestling in almost 5 years, have not seen anything. And you could not miss it if you were looking at anything on ESPN because it was on the front page of ESPN all throughout the entire night. First, I will say that CM Punk headlining WrestleMania was the reason why is something that should have been happening about 7 years ago. I will say that should have happened so many daggone years ago, and now finally he closes out the night, even though he loses to Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns is back now as the WWE heavyweight champion, I believe. I don't believe he's the Universal. That might have been the other match with what's his name, Cody and whomever else. But two of the things that caught my attention regarding WrestleMania was the involvement of Pat McAfee and the creative way that in WWE Creative, how TKO Holdings, the parent owner, has essentially taken over and catered more to the casual fan than to the diehard wrestling fan. I know that you saw I Show Speed and, Pat McAfee was involved, and in WrestleMania, they always get the celebrity involvement. But there now seems to be more of an emphasis on the celebrity involvement than it would be to pay off a storyline in wrestling. And one of them happened to be with what was happening with Pat McAfee and his payoff for the match with Randy Orton and, with some big announcement, and it ended up turning into some type of thing for Dodge pickup trucks or something like that. It took a lot of the hardcore, old, real wrestling fans. It took them off on the first night and didn't make them feel that well about the whole match. But then it made up for it on the second night where you had several upsets, including the retirement match of Brock Lesnar, which I explained last week. I can't remember the dude's name. You got to remind me of the dude's name again.
Obafemi.
Okay. I had mentioned how when a wrestler is on his way out of the company or on the way out of the business, they put over and they let somebody get a big win against them as the way of passing the torch. That's the good way of doing business. And Brock Lesnar has been in the wrestling business, got out of the wrestling business, went to the UFC business, came back to the wrestling business, did it for multiple years, and knew the way that it went and knows the way of the ropes of going. So him putting over Oba Fenty and having that win at WrestleMania, and essentially at the end coming out and hugging Paul Heyman, and acknowledging the crowd, which is something Brock Lesnar is not Brock Lesnar acknowledging the crowd. The last time I remember him actually acknowledging anything in the crowd was him giving the finger during his match with Goldberg at WrestleMania 20 when he was going to leave the WWE, and he gave the finger to the crowd. This was completely different than what it was in 2004. Yeah, it was 2004 during WrestleMania 20. And this was a completely different. This was him acknowledging that his time is done and he passed the torch to it. And hats off to Brock Lesnar for one of the best careers as far as legitimate fighting goes. He did not have the John Cena all-time great career, but every milestone in March that he did, there's a sense of legitimacy with what he brought, which was something that John Cena doesn't have. There's something that, in a way, Roman Reigns hasn't obtained yet. It's kind of like how Ric Flair, when he was doing 60-minute matches with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat and legitimizing his runs as the world heavyweight champion, you kind of felt that way about Brock Lesnar with his legitimacy of his matches that he had spanning God knows how many years with him as the champion, but also legitimacy of him as being the UFC heavyweight champion. So hats off to him on a phenomenal career. I was interested in one other thing that happened the next night on Monday Night Raw, and that was the reformation of the Bloodline with Jay and Jimmy Uso as well as Roman Reigns again. It looks like they're back together. But at this time, I believe Jay Uso, which I didn't even know, was a world heavyweight champion and has a championship run to him. So I kind of feel like the second formation of this Bloodline thing that is happening is going to set up a match between Jey Uso and Roman Reigns in the future, which that's about the best thing that I could say as far as the future. But storylines are predictable within the world of professional wrestling if you know the patterns and you know the way these people think. So that's what I got to say about that.
Man, I didn't realize. Shout out to Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso is around my age. He's a little bit younger than me. I thought he was more in his middle 30s. That brother looked good. Pause. Yeah. Random, I know, but I just took a look at his image and was like, wait, he's 40? He's younger than me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if I'm right, I'm not sure if his wife is still wrestling. No, hold on. Is it Jimmy or Jay? I can't remember which one they are. And like I said, I haven't been watching in years. But one of them is married to Trinity Fatu. I can't remember what the heck she goes by on there. But what's that?
I said it's Jimmy's wife. She goes by
Naomi. That's right. I couldn't remember her name to save my life right there. But yeah, that. And she's still out wrestling, and I don't know. Like I said, and as far as the women's matches, you could tell me who won, and I had no idea what the hell happened. Like I said, didn't watch it, but yeah.
Rhea Ripley ended up taking the win, and I mean she's set the stage to be able to take this for a while now.
Rhea in 2019 and 2020, when she was in NXT, was really set up to do that much better, and I'm glad that she did. She was able to be at the top. I figured within 5 years she'd be at the top of the women's division, and yeah, she has. So that was 5 years ago. I can't say anything about it now.
Well, it's interesting what people don't know, and I learned this from talking with KT King. And there was a guy who was active duty with me for a while. The guy's not even, how tall is, I almost said his name. He's like 5'4", 5'5". But he ended up doing wrestling for a while before he stopped. I want to say like 6 years on a lot of the smaller circuits.
Mm-hmm.
Like Ripley, the Uso brothers kind of had it in the family. But for some of these people, you're doing a lot of the smaller circuits, just that you have the right package for that chance to really move up into big leads.
There's the independents, and then you're looking at after the independents, you're possibly looking at certain feeder organizations, Ring of Honor, TNA Wrestling. What's the other one? The NWA, NXT for the WWE. Once you're out of those independents and they look at you, they send you into one of those feeder series before you get called up into what you would consider the main roster types of events, which would be, WWE Raw and SmackDown. For AEW, it's like the whatever they call it, Dynamite, and whatever they have on Fridays. Really, another one that's also is over in Japan. New Japan Pro Wrestling is considered one of the bigger time ones, but that's getting a little bit more for the international and the Japanese fighters. But the sense of legitimacy that you have with certain organizations, that you'd have to make your name on the independent scene and get the reps in. And a lot of people that get the reps in, they're doing this for a hot dog and a handshake. They're doing this for exposure and trying to get them to get people to notice them. And it takes years for a lot of people to get to notice them.
Exactly. And if you look at a lot of the wrestlers now, the ones at the main stage, at the Raws, at the WWEs, the average age is like early 40s. CM, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, Cody Rhodes. These are 40-year-old men. Like I wake up and my knees are sometimes like, bruh, I'm gonna need you to warm up first. And these guys are out here putting their bodies on the line for our entertainment and money, obviously.
Well, and then
go ahead.
No, like I said, now I'm bringing back a whole bunch of stuff that I haven't talked about in years. But for the wrestling business, it does have its ups and downs and its cycles when it comes to who's at the top for for who's at the top and the age for the people. There was a lot of criticism in the 90s and the late 80s and early 90s that there were old people up on the top, like Macho Man, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, and there were no new people coming in. But then they started to get younger people like Shawn Michaels, Kevin Nash, Bret Hart, and then that rolled into Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock. But then there was always an older group that would be at the top for forever, like Randy Orton and John Cena. They were considered old, and they weren't because they had been wrestling for years. And I guess it's getting to that point now where, and I do think that because if I'm right, WrestleMania 30 or WrestleMania 29 was the first WrestleMania in which Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, who's John Moxley in AEW, they all debuted as the Shield. I think it was either WrestleMania 29 or WrestleMania 30. Now you're 12 years later, and all of them are still wrestling at the top, and they're at that thing. So I guess there is time to get some new people into there to get them, elevated. When you said the women's matches, I'm still thinking Charlotte Flair and frickin' what the hell's that little redheaded Irish woman? Becky Lynch, and I guess she goes now by Mercedes Moné, and Bailey, and all of them. But those are the ones who I'm thinking about, like, but now Rhea Ripley is there, and there's other women that I've never heard of. So they've kind of gone through those old people, and there's going to be younger people that are going to be coming up in the ranks within WWE soon. Oba Fenty seems like he's going to have a phenomenal career here pretty soon. Gunther is another one that we're going to be seeing here pretty soon. What's that?
He is 27 years old. He has a chance to make bukus of cash.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And one of the things that somebody that WWE was guilty of. Now, like I said, I heard about the first night, and I understood the creative, that the TKO holding company is the one who comes up with the creative now, and they're kind of thinking in the same way Vince McMahon did, but they're thinking of the casual fan more than the diehard. If they started really just pushing Oba Fenty before he's ready to be a champion, to become a champion, like they did with Roman Reigns very, very early in his career, it'll backfire on them. You know, there was a lot of people that weren't happy with Roman Reigns getting shot after shot at WrestleMania for the championship, and it wasn't until he returned after his leukemia battle that there was any type of legitimacy anybody felt regarding Roman Reigns as a champion. So, you know, I say that to say there needs to be certain, you know, there needs to be a little bit of a slow walk as far as, you know, championships and everything like that for some of these people, and build them up legitimately.
You know,
And that's why you have people that are 40 years old who have been built up over several years, still main eventing all of these, you know, matches, these cards.
now I have to tell you, man, I'm the casual wrestling fan.
Yeah.
But what they did with this really got me invested, especially with Oba and his surge with one of the best intros that I've seen in wrestling. I don't care what nobody says. To me, he has one of the, I dare I say, because this is your domain, but his entrance into the ring is one of my favorite entrances, top tier of all time.
I mean, just seeing what he's done with those entrances, yeah, that there are some of them that are like, you know, phenomenal entrances. The demon entrance with Finn Balor, that was always one of my favorites. Shinsuke Nakamura had a couple of them, especially when he first came up, but also in NXT, he had a great one, and New Japan he did. Bobby Roode had a great entrance. There were several other people who had there was another dude, Aleister Black. I don't even know if he's still wrestling now, but he had a phenomenal entrance that kind of reminded me of the clip we showed last week. Yeah, there's some of them that become, you know, iconic. There's some of them that become, you know, great with the way that his presence was put in off of that, what you showed me last week. It has its chance to become one of the iconic ones, you know. It's definitely better than, oh God, what's his name used to come out in the old Shield music. Roman Reigns used to come out in the Shield music, and for a while he was coming through the crowd. Nobody liked him coming through the crowd, so he just came out through the deck or through the entrance ramp, and it just went through shit after that. There's been a couple of other good ones that had decent, you know, it all goes with the song, it goes with the entrance, and it goes with, you know, how it makes people feel. I always thought Brock Lesnar's was great. That was me. That because I always loved the way that it started off with the guitar riff, and then, you know, him just walking himself down to the ring with any type of pyro. It really kind of set you up there. I liked Brock Lesnar's, but yeah, it's been a while since I've seen you know, entrances. I can't really grade anybody on any, you know, recent ones or anything like that.
All right. Let's talk about the NBA playoffs right now.
Yes, we finally care about the NBA.
Let me get this off the screen. Remove. All right. So NBA playoffs. The NBA playoffs have kicked off, and probably one of the surprises right now is the Orlando and Detroit matchup, which Orlando won in game 1, and they're playing right now in game 2. They're at halftime 46-46. I don't think most people had this as one of the sweeps that could have occurred out of the first round. And the fact that Orlando has played early and played well in these playoffs is really having people rethinking what the sports books and what sports analysts are saying. What surprises have occurred from what you've seen in the early rounds of these playoff games?
All right, we're going to repeat the same thing because I was going to say that I was really surprised that Orlando actually pulled off game 1 and are keeping it competitive. But, you know, Orlando does have the talent. It's just a matter of them all being on the same sheet of paper and, you know, being able to coach and play well together, which they did. And I think they also caught Detroit sleeping on game 1. Other one that also got me, and this was, I think, So I was watching this yesterday. I was watching the Portland and Spurs game because it was on NBC, and I can understand why people have trepidation against the Spurs because Wembanyama going out of the game with a concussion. I would say he is the difference maker on that Spurs team. Plain and damn simple. Okay, I I watched the first quarter of the game, and then I was flipping it back and forth to the Yankee game. Yankees end up scoring like 3 runs in the top of the sixth, and then they get out. Once the inning's over, I turn it back. Damn, Spurs were down by 18, and by the time the end of the first quarter came back, Wembanyama came in and damn near, brought them back to a 1-point lead at the end of the first quarter. Then I watched the rest of the game, and Wembanyama goes out with a freaking concussion, and then Spurs end up losing game 2. I believe that a healthy Victor Wembanyama is the difference maker, and his game 1 performance was out of this freaking world for a first time being in the playoffs. Broke the record, 35 points and 5 rebounds and 2 blocks, breaking Tim Duncan's record for San Antonio. This concussion thing has got me a little worried. That's what I'm getting really surprised at. But it's not surprising me about how bad San Antonio is without Victor Wembanyama in the lineup. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yep. Now that series is tied 1-1. They play game 3 this coming Friday. And right now, in the first 2 games, the spread was a lot further. Vegas has the odds right now, San Antonio only by 1.5 points. So that tells you how much his injury changes the sports odds. I'm also looking at the Lakers here. So the Lakers are up 2-0 in their series. And looking at their game that's being played on Friday, the odds on that has Houston favored to win by 9.5 points. And I'm like, I haven't seen anything that would indicate that having the Lakers travel from travel and playing in Houston that would make the spread that much more that far apart. Have you looked at that any of those games? And did you see what Kevin Durant said in playing in his first game in that game 2, and the excuses and the bus that he drove over his teammates as to why they lost that game?
I did not see anything with the Houston or Los Angeles. I have not been paying a single bit of attention to it. I saw just basically headlines as far as that. It doesn't surprise me, though, that the Lakers are playing a little bit better and LeBron looks like he's got a little bit more of his step in. But with the amount Houston's lineup and going back at home, that's where I kind of see where this is, swinging as far as 9.5 points. You're also given 4 days off, but for LeBron James at 40-something years old. I mean, I'm not saying that LeBron is still as good as you think he is, but I will say that they're not going to have a great time over in Game 3, going on the road to Houston. Oh, daggone, was that you or me?
That's me. I'm trying to get this clip set up.
The Lakers do it.
I got you. But yeah, man, as far as I'm looking at it, I think that when we get out of San Antonio, I mean, San Antonio is another 50-win season, had a decent regular season, better than the New York Knicks, and the Knicks were I'm getting coming out of the first round. I think going back at home, getting themselves straight, and with the way that, right now, even with LA not having a full Luka, and Luka, I don't even know if he's going to be coming back anytime soon. I still don't see him leaving out this one. So possibly, and I'm coming with this one. I like the 6-game kind of series where I said, the Knicks and the Hawks were going to be a 6-game series. The Knicks taking it 4-2. I don't see it going 7 games, but I do think Houston winning the next 4 is still a possibility.
Yeah, it is definitely a possibility. And having Kevin Durant back, I mean, in game 2, he had 23 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, which is showing on the screen. But listen to the CDL bus that he ran over with his team. Check this
All
out.
right, let me hear it. Yeah.
Bill, how did you feel you performed? How do you feel about the game?
Felt good. Glad to be back out there playing high pressure moments. But yeah, bad game for me tonight.
They started double teaming you a little bit more in the second half, getting the ball out of your hands. How can your teammates take advantage of that?
I mean, they started doubling me from possession 1, man. Like, I think I got to be better at not put my teammates in bad positions when I swing that ball. Sometimes I could beat the double, get downhill, make the shot a little easier for them. Shoot the ball. I mean, when two to three people on me, I shoot the ball. We can get offensive rebound. So I'm trying to make passes. I'm trying to make the correct, swing the ball sometimes, but I feel like I got to shoot more of those and put my teammates in better position. But I feel like we still got some good looks up at it. 24% from the three, 40 from the field. Like, tough night shooting the ball for us, and they knock down shots. They backcourt at 48 points combined. Hit 8 threes. Then Rui hit 3 threes himself. So it's tough. But I just got to be more aggressive to look to score, no matter where the double team come from, no matter who's doubling. There's plenty of times I feel like I could just shoot over those guys.
You talked about the shooting struggles you guys had. What does that allow them to do as far as being more aggressive with some of the doubles and kind of the junk defenses they throw at you?
Man, they daring us to shoot. I mean, they daring us to make plays. And from his first possession, I get the ball. The top of the key is double team, a hit, So, yeah, they feel confident in that scheme, and it's on us to, make them pay for it.
Now, I had to laugh at this because for 2 or 3 seasons, he's playing at Golden State with Steph Curry, which Steph Curry himself demands a double team. Yet even with Steph double team, he was still able to put up 30 and 8 assists or 30 and 6 assists, somewhere around there. But you had to either double Steph or double KD, but both of them were still getting 30. Now, with the focus being on Steph the way that it was, that allowed KD, who's already an excellent scorer, to just go out there and have a free reign. But now that he doesn't have a Steph Curry, right, the rest of his team, I mean, I'm looking at the stats here right now. Nobody shot, there was one scorer that shot over 50%, and that was Thompson, who went 6 of 10 from the field goal. You had Josh Okogie go 3 of 6. But everybody else was under 50% outside of KD. Their three-point shooting was horrible. They were 24% from the three, going 7 of 29, while the Lakers themselves went 13 of 28. Their field goal percentages were similar, not close, and they were both 79% at the free throws. So Kevin Durant saying that he needed to play better. How much better can you play when KD himself was 7 of 12? 1 from 4 from 3, but 7 of 12, 6 assists, 1 steal. He did have 4 turnovers. I mean, that's a phenomenal game by most people's standards.
It is a phenomenal game, but it's not a winning game. And let me put it to you this way. With the caliber player that Kevin Durant is, and, I say this as well as LeBron does this as well, and any of the great players can bring that upon him. He put more of an emphasis on how he was playing, from what I heard, saying that he had opportunities to put his teammates into better position to score better shots. And let's be honest, they don't you got Amen Thompson and Jabari Smith and Reed Shepard are your three, your 3 outside shots, specialists you got there. Okay. You got Sengun in the center, and, KD is the other one that's out on the wing. This 3, fast paced game that he's got that is being played in the NBA, him trying to go up with the shots and hoisting more threes and hitting them is going to be the emphasis on it. But he needs to put his team into a better position for them to shoot especially if they're getting the double team. You just mentioned, though, he had Steph, who was averaging 30 a game while he was averaging 30 a game. They also had, if either one of them got doubled, they also had one of the top 5 3-point shooters of all time in Klay Thompson with them. And Draymond, just basically sticking his thumb up everybody else's asses and pissing them off throughout the time. So he doesn't have that supporting cast around him, okay? All right, Thompson is no Klay Thompson, all right? And Jabari Smith sure as hell ain't no daggone Draymond, and, daggone Shepard ain't no daggone Steph. You're not going to have that supporting cast. So him making the smarter basketball plays to either shoot it over, shots that he knows that he can make over the double team, or setting up his teammates for better shots while he is double teamed. That is an onus of a leader of that team. I'm not saying that he threw anybody underneath the bus, man. What I think he did is he took ownership of his play and thought about ways that he can better himself for the next game, which is what they're going to have to do against LA at home, which that's where I think the line's coming in as far as, the 9.5 points. He's going to take the onus on him to go ahead and get himself to play better at home and hopefully even up the series at home before they return back to LA for Game 5.
All right. In that Orlando-Detroit game, it has resumed in the third quarter. Detroit has jumped out to an early lead, now 55-46. Tonight, we also have Game 3 of the Phoenix-Oklahoma City. Game 2 of the Phoenix versus the OKC game. Nobody's given Phoenix a chance, and this is the only game of this week that has a double-digit point spread.
17.5. That's brutal, man. That's brutal.
Yep.
But it very well might be. Nah, you know what? I'm gonna give Phoenix with the points. I don't think they're gonna beat them by 18 plus.
I might put in a DraftKings entry after our live stream is over. I think that Oklahoma City is going to cover and be over as well. I'm doing it. I'm $50 on it.
All right.
All right. Let's see. Let's move on. What do we have up next here? Let me go get my show notes. Okay.
We're going to the draft.
In the NFL draft. Shout out to our chat. I see Todd is in the building. Said, yo. I gave you a salute, my brother. NFL draft. The NFL draft is kicking off tomorrow, day 1 of the NFL draft. It is in Pittsburgh. I had an opportunity to go to the NFL draft this year and be on the sideline, and ultimately turned it down because I have a lot going on personally. I've been to an NFL draft. As a matter of fact, the last NFL draft I went to, there is video of me participating in some of the fan events. It was at the Indianapolis. I want to say it was before COVID, like around the 2019 year. It was the year that James Conner got drafted. And the reason why I remember that, it was James Conner, Christian McCaffrey. And the reason why I remember that is one of the guys that I went with, he was friends with the Conner family. So we went out with James Conner's mom. And she was, obviously nervous and excited about her kid getting drafted and things like that. So it was really cool to participate in a draft with somebody whose family member was also getting drafted, who got drafted pretty early too.
James Conner, 2017 NFL draft.
Wow, 2017, man, that it seems like just yesterday. So, Coach, give me your thoughts, and while you do that, I'm going to see if I could go find that video of me at the draft in 2017.
Absolutely. Well, the suspense is not going to be there for the number 1 pick in the draft. There is a one quarterback in this draft that is worthy of a top 10 selection, and that's Fernando Mendoza. Undefeated season over at Indiana, Heisman Trophy win, national championship, and his reward is that he is going to be drafted by the NFL's second dumbest owner in Mark Davis with the Las Vegas Raiders. Yes, so he gets to go play in Allegiant Stadium and be around hookers and cocaine for the majority of the start of his career. Congratulations on that. But hey, look, you guys have made a lot of, unbelievable trades. You traded Max Crosby and got him back. You've signed certain players and then now have them on the team, and it's looking pretty good now that Geno Smith, you're not going to have to compete against him as the quarterback. The reason why is because Geno Smith signed with the New York fucking Jets. Again. And the Jets, with the number 2 pick of the NFL draft, possibly, I'm just going to say this. The number 2 pick of the NFL draft is going to end up being a bust. Not because he's not going to be a great player, but it's because the Jets are just going to pick the wrong person. And all eyes right now are possibly on David Bailey, the defensive end out of Texas Tech. And look, I would think that he does have a chance to do that. Personally, I think Arvell Roll out of Ohio State should be the pick. But let me be as blunt as I can. Whomever is getting picked by the Jets is going to end up being a bust. Whether it be Bailey or whether it be Arvell Reese. Either one of them are going to be a bust because they're going to be drafted by the Jets. They're going to have no daggone talent whatsoever. And it's going to be terrible because, well, the Jets are a cursed franchise. They always in a one quarterback draft, they always are in need of a quarterback. They always end up somehow on the shit end. When they could have had Trevor Lawrence, but then decided to get a win so that Adam Gase can feel good about himself, they ended up shitting the bed and then drafting Zach Wilson. Yeah, instead of getting Trevor Lawrence, who has more playoff appearances than the Jets have since 2012. But as I'm looking at it, one of the big ones that I'm thinking about is that we're looking at Jordan Ronan is projected to go number 5 to the New York Giants, who, let me just say, got rid of a headache. But, with the way that headache has been rolling around for the Giants, it's understandable. Dexter Lawrence has been traded over to the Cincinnati Bengals. So now instead of losing in blue, he's going to lose in orange. And the New York Giants with the 5th pick is going to be going with the running back out of Notre Dame, Jordan Raanan. And, you probably wouldn't have needed that one if you did the smart move. And instead of trying to franchise tag Danny Dimes, signed Danny Dimes to a contract extension. You did that with Saquon Barkley, and you didn't have to draft anybody. You would probably have been able to get a better quarterback, but it's all right. You're the New York Giants. You suck anyway. But as far as total impact players, you are looking a little bit more of your defensive side for this draft. I am not seeing a wide receiver being taken off the board until Carnell Tate going into New Orleans, possibly at 8. And yes, I am getting this stuff off of ESPN. And then I see at 16, the Jets drafting wide receiver Omar Cooper out of Indiana. There is some talk that there is a possibility they could use the 16th pick on Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson. That is, if he does not, if he's still on the board and they believe that he will not fall to the 2nd round, which, as projections have it, he will most likely fall to the 2nd round. I don't think that Mr. Simpson's going to make it out of the 1st round, which gives the Jets the opportunity to draft him 33rd overall and then fuck up his career just like they were going to do with Fernando Mendoza and anybody else that they draft. So as the NFL draft always ends up being the Super Bowl for the Jets, I think that they are going to perform as well as the New England Patriots did in the first half of this year's Super Bowl, and they're going to be absolutely terrible. They're going to be coming unprepared because their head coach is too busy trying to kiss up to the media, just like the same way that the Patriots coach was kissing up to the media. Except the Patriots coach was kissing up the media up to Danielle's or whatever the hell her name is, right up her skirt instead of trying to do the national media the way that freaking stupid Aaron Glenn is. Man, look, I said I wasn't going to get this mad until April or September or October about the Jets. But man, we're in April and I'm already ticked off about how this Jets season's going to be. This is going to be, we suck so bad that Arch Manning is our only option. And Arch Manning is going to go back to school again just because he doesn't want to get to play for the Jets, or he's going to get himself traded away from the Jets, just the way that his freaking uncles never wanted to play for San Diego. And they demanded that either one they go one or they get traded away from San Diego. Yeah, it's going to be that daggone bad. They're not going to want to play for the Jets just the same way Peyton didn't want to play for the Jets. And in a way, I am kind of hoping that President Trump, and this is the only time I'm going to say him actually doing something will make a difference. I hope he does sign this executive order where there's a total of 5 years eligibility within, with these NIL deals and all of this other shit for college football instead of the 6 years and the 7 years and the 8 years that we're seeing. Because I would love to see Arch Manning have to play for the New York Jets. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen. He's too busy being a stupid fucking moron in order for him to, actually put legitimate action on NFL on college football. So, yeah, this is going to be a weekend of me getting pissed off that the Jets did not get the one quarterback in the one quarterback draft, and whomever they're going to end up drafting will end up being a bust. And for you, I severely hope that it's Mr. Simpson out of Alabama gets drafted by the Jets in the second round. If he gets drafted in the first round, I am going to tell you right now that he will be out of the NFL within the matter of 4 years, and nobody's going to want to touch him.
I'm going to make this prediction because I've looked at several different drafts. I don't think that the Jets are going to touch Ty Simpson. I think that they're going to go a different route and draft a wide receiver at that position. I don't know which wide receiver, but they're going to take a wide receiver. I think
so. But I'm talking about in the second round, man. I know the first round they've got
that's what I'm saying. In the second round, the Jets have the 33 pick. They're not going to take Ty Simpson. Ty's not getting drafted in the first round. The only quarterback coming out in the first round is Mendoza. I think you can put money on that.
Yeah.
In the second round, the Jets with the 33rd pick are going to take a wide receiver because the Jets are going to do what Jets do. They're going to fuck up. And I think you got the Cardinals, the Titans. They've got Cam there. The Raiders are going to. I think the next quarterback that comes off is Ty Simpson at Arizona. And the pick
at the 34 pick, very possible. Very possible. It would be interesting because the Jets also have the 44th pick. It would be interesting to see if he's still on the board at 44 if the Jets take a flyer on him. But
now you're right, because I'm looking to see Raiders, Giants, Texans aren't going to do it. Cleveland's definitely not going to do it. Chiefs not going to do it. Cincinnati with Burrow, no. Saints, no. Dolphins maybe at 40.
Well, the Saints may.
Really?
Who are the Saints quarterbacks right now?
I've got to look it up. That's how bad the Saints quarterback
exactly. Yeah.
Let's see.
That's where I'm coming from, and even and Miami would take a chance. They love their future, concussion protocol quarterbacks or their Alabama concussion protocol quarterbacks. Tua play football. Unfortunately, he's in Atlanta right now. Oh, yeah. And you know what? I do have to say this. I find it hysterical that going to Las Vegas, Fernando Mendoza, he's projected he'll end up being the number 1 pick, and they're projecting him to start week 1 for Los Angeles. But somehow still have Kirk Cousins on the fucking roster and signed him to more money than what you're paying most of your daggone receivers and everybody on that team. Damn.
You know, I think though with Tom Brady having his hands over there in that organization, I think they know what they're doing with doing that. I believe Kirk Cousins is actually going to lead them off. He actually Mendoza might not see the field in week 1. He might not see the field the first half of the season. I think they go with Kirk Cousins, get Mendoza that veteran leadership. I don't think that Kirk Cousins is there in that mindset. I think Kirk Cousins wants to start and play. But I believe that Brady, being the quarterback mindset that he is, has some influence in the development of Mendoza, that it's going to be Kirk Cousins starting out before they make that transition.
And we say that is the smart move. I can see that happening, but this is also Mark Davis we're talking about, who, I'm pretty sure he looks like he's developmentally challenged. I mean, not just the haircut, but just with his decisions that he makes. The funny thing is that he basically doesn't know anything about football and just learned from what his father said to do and thought about what his dad would make his picks when that's how he runs that daggone franchise. I don't think Brady is going to influence it the way that Mark Davis's stupidity is not taken into consideration with a lot of the things. But I mean, he still is also not the dumbest owner in sport. That officially goes to Woody Johnson of the New York Jets, who, just is so damn stupid, so lazy that he should be shot in the face and sodomized by a red hot poker.
There was a question in the chat by Bitchwarmers Prods that says, who do you think that the Titans will take? I'm looking at 3 different mock drafts here. All 3 of the different mock drafts has them going with the defensive player. 2 of the mock drafts has Sonny Styles out of Ohio State, and one of them has Arvell Reese, who also is coming out of Ohio State as well. I'm going to go with Sonny Styles.
I mean, to run up with Cam Newton, and I think to possibly get a running back with Love with Love out of Notre Dame, that might be a safe bet. But I mean, you're really going to have more impact with a defensive player in this draft out of anybody, and with a pick that high, you can possibly get a good running back in the second round. So, I might have either Reese or Love out of Ohio State. Either one of them might fall out. Might be Bailey out of Texas Tech if he's not taken by the Jets. But
Now, hey, you've got Mendoza going 1. I think Bailey is taken at number 2. I think 1 and 2 are a lock. I don't see the not taking Bailey.
I get that, but my thing is that, like I said, he's going to the Jets. It's going to be a fucked up pick. Reese is going to have like a Hall of Fame freaking career, and Bailey's going to be a bust just because he's going to the Jets. Yeah, I mean, either way, whomever is at 3 and at 4, they're going to end up having a Pro Bowl caliber player, while the Jets end up having a bust. Yeah,
now
it's just the way that it goes.
Now, what I'm not so sure about is the 3rd spot. The Cardinals might be the first to make a trade down spot. A lot of mock drafts have them taking Love at 3. If they do stay and take him, I think that they do take the top running back right there at the 3rd spot. But I think 1 and 2 are locked. 3 is where things could be flexible. And then 4 and 5 are definitely both going to be defensive players that come off the board. And then after that, it gets kind of fluid. The Browns at 6 are definitely going to take a lineman. And one of the first linemen that comes off the board looks to be Spencer Fano out of Utah.
I can't believe we are actually saying somebody to protect Shador Sanders. Damn.
Hey,
Damn.
there's a comment here and highlight
Damn.
it. Shout out to Benchwarmer said, by the way, dude, love what you're doing. Here's a sub. Hold on. I wish I had. Let me see what sound effect that I could give. Let me try this one. I don't know if y'all can hear the trumpets. You should be able to hear it. If not, oops. Shut up.
Jesus Christ, that was fucking long.
Yeah, I might have to cut that. I need to update my soundboard too.
I got to get me a soundboard, man. I've been saying that I've been getting one for years. You know, and it was messed up is that, freaking coach's son manager was here last weekend and he didn't fix my computer.
I might, and I'm trying to decide if I want to do this or not. I wish there was a way that I could, like, I can watch the draft with the viewers inside of our Discord. Yeah. By the way, if y'all don't know, we do have a Discord at WTFNationRadio.com. If you go into our description, there's a link to join our Discord channel in there. So if you're interested in that, join us. Maybe not for round 1, maybe for round 2 before FTX. I'll join and I'll sit in there and we'll watch the Discord, see if I can have it up on watch the draft in Discord and see if I can have it up on the screen. And if anybody wants to come and chop it up with us and talk 2026 NFL draft, we could do that. I'm going to see if I can.
Yeah, we got the staff meeting tomorrow during the first round of the NFL draft, and as much as I would love to do that during CQ staff meeting, we can't do that. By the way, you haven't shown up for the past 2 weeks to the staff meeting.
Yeah, that changed. That changed from Sundays to Thursdays.
I know.
It is a tricky one. Also, Coach, I'm sad, as I just realized, there's only going to be one Bama player taken in the first round in this year's draft. The Buckeyes are dominating the early rounds of the draft here. I don't know how I feel about it.
Just know that Coach Saban ain't no longer the coach. There's your reason why.
Speaking of the coach, I don't know how I feel about this. Kalen DeBoer has agreed to a 7-year, $87.5 million contract. Let me see if I can hit the breaking news here real quick. Okay, we lost coach. It was announced today that Coach DeBoer and the University of Alabama has agreed to a new contract. It's a 7-year contract that will pay him $12.5 million per season. It was announced today, extending Coach D's contract by 2 years. It expires January 31st of 2033. The new agreement includes a buyout of $10 million through January 31, 2027, and the buyout decreases by $2 million after each of the next 2 years. Coach D, who has a 20-8 record in 2 seasons at Bama, he's not saving. And maybe that's where I have a little bit of a headache about it. He's a great leader. Haven't heard many people say any bad things about him as a person, but he just hasn't came in and performed to the level that I'm used to seeing, as Bama's been used to just dominating. I also don't like his offense. I don't like his offense one bit. That spread style offense bugs me because I'm kind of used to that smash mouth style that Bama had for the longest time with some of their offensive coordinators. But shout out to Coach D and Alabama, and we'll see how these next couple of years pan out.
You know what this is, King?
It's a leveler.
It's a level, yes. And you know what I'm going to do right now?
What's that?
I'm going to level with you.
Uh-oh.
Welcome back to mediocrity, Alabama. I'm not saying this. And look, the New England Patriots, it took them 5 years to get back to the Super Bowl after Belichick. Nick Saban is a Hall of Fame all-time great coach. And there was always going to be a massive hole to fill after that. And look, some people do it great. Some people do it very simply and are able to come back and win championships, pretty swiftly. Florida State hasn't been the same since Bobby Bowden's successor, left the organization. Florida hasn't been the same since Urban Meyer left the place. Man, I gotta be honest with you, buddy. I gotta level with you. You're getting back to the Sean Alexander years over at Alabama, man. You're not back into the Derrick Henry years anymore, buddy. You're not back into the Trent Richardson years. You're back to the Sean Alexander years at Alabama. Mediocrity, my friend. I am leveling with you. Welcome back to mediocrity. Just get used to it. You're not going to be playing many games on New Year's Day anytime soon. Get used to the Pop-Tart Bowl because that's always going to be a big draw. I am so sorry, but until they get a better head coach, yeah, buddy, you're not going to be seeing the SEC championship game, for quite a while.
Man, there was a question in the chat, and this was a good question. What are your thoughts on passing of Coach Matt? I actually wrote that down to cover last week. Coach McGinnis, longtime coach for the Tennessee Titans, a guy that football was in his blood, passed away about a week and a half ago. And what was interesting about him is he came to a football coaching thing in Alabama around 2000. And you could tell like that this dude ate and slept football, point blank period. From what I knew about him then, being that I was young at that time, was he wasn't just about football. Down south where football is like life, he talked about using football and the team approach to doing things, and he was a guy that made young boys men. That was apparent even when he went to the pro level. And you can't find a person online to say a bad thing about him. Yeah. So rest in peace to Dave, Coach Mack. I meant to announce that last week. Yeah, that had reparation. Y'all know I graduated from Alabama.
No, you're good.
I can't say big words. That reverb of the football community. That's what I was needing to say. Thank you.
Yeah. And look, I know that this has nothing to do with sports, but another passing, Daryl from what was that, Storage Wars? He passed away today. Not sure if you remember that guy.
No, as I wasn't familiar with Storage Wars.
It was an all right show for a couple of years, but then it became the same thing over and over again. It's kind of like Pawn Stars and every other, like American Picker, where they just go to a new place that's staged, and everybody ends up buying something that they already bought, and they do stuff on TV just to shine shit up. But yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about it.
All right, well, we're going to end the show on a pretty interesting story here. I'm going to show two clips here. One was sent to me by a viewer of the show that is a preamble to the last video that we're going to show for tonight's live stream. It's never over till it's over. In this case, at a high school game, you're going to see a team that was down 24-7 with 1:09 remaining, kick a field goal to then make the score 10-24. So that's 2 touchdowns. And they poured out the win. So let's watch how this team poured out this win in this comeback. It's never over till it's over.
Matthew Cronetta moving to 4 for 4. I mean, to mention the name of the school that beat them. It was Chandler. They call it the school just up the road, just up north of Hamilton High School.
They kick the onside and recover it.
But this Huskies team's got a shot for Hamilton. 2 timeouts for the Huskies, down 2 scores. Markio rolling left on the money. That throws pure.
That might be it for him. I'm Coach Z. I might be putting an end to this. I'm going to protect you from yourself at this point in time. He's waving him off. He's waving him off again.
Wow.
He's a tough dude, man. He wants to get this touchdown.
Are you not entertained?
Have a meaningful impact on the game, but he wants to stay out here and keep battling with his squad.
Inside the 20, the give is to Nick Switzer, and the running back puts his shoulder down, reaches for the goal line. And
he's short. They hand off the ball with 2 timeouts down, 2 touchdowns with less than 50 seconds. And they decide to run the ball. He gets stopped.
Brunel. I like that Mark Brunel comparison as he throws a touchdown pass right there.
Vegas to a.
And they kick the extra point to be down 7 points. Now the team is down 7 points with 30 seconds remaining. They have to attempt another onside kick to be competitive.
Very antsy one for the Bishop Gorman players. Here's another try for the onside kick for Hamilton.
And they recover. So they recovered here. They have 1 timeout with 28 seconds left.
And they just recovered another one. It's Cooper LeDuc again. Now, they start in Bishop Gorman territory. Markio to throw. He's got his man complete. Christian and I.
Some timeout, 1 timeout left.
2 safeties deep. Markio sees an open patch of grass and he takes it, slides.
Slides with 14 seconds left and 1 timeout. But the clock stopped. They were able to line up.
Now let's see what the Huskies can do.
Here we go. Markio, the West Virginia commit, throws a strike over the middle. Touchdown, Huskies!
And with 9 seconds remaining, what do? They go for 2.
Offense is coming out. Mike Zadebski is going for it. Nico Markio, the West Virginia commit, rolls to his left. Here comes the pressure. Markio for the power line. He's in!
And the quarterback takes it in himself on the scramble and scores. It's not over till it's over. And I thought that was a great video to show right before we get into the last. We're going to talk about an improbable win and why it's never over until it's over. But I want to highlight this comment here from Bench Warmers. Says, sorry for joining late. I saw you on my FYP, saw we didn't have any viewers, so I thought I would join. I like what y'all are doing. Keep it up. First of all, thank you. We are one of many shows here at WTF Nation Radio. We do sports every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Zone. We also do sports trivia. We're going to have sports trivia next Wednesday where the winner wins something. We've given away signed jerseys. We've given away gift cards. We've given away cash. We've given away Jordan 1s. So if that's something that you're interested in, pull up as we're going to have sports trivia next week. It's free to join and an opportunity to win something. Tell your friends about it. Be sure to follow Sports Bar on WTF Nation Radio on Facebook for all of our updates.
Yep. He's coming in from our YouTube stream, which is awesome. Thank you for watching us on YouTube.
That is awesome. We are streaming across multiple platforms, but it's great that you're catching us over there on YouTube. Now, I'm going to play the final video here as this thing was talked about, but to set this up here, let me go and get my notes here. There's a clip of a guy, Carson Mello, that starts celebrating early during a Delaware marathon, which always seems to have some type of viral moment that has come from it. This guy who is beating the second place person by a lot starts pumping his arms up and down, thinking that he's got it, only for Joshua Jackson to come in and snatch it by 0.95 seconds. There has been many angles and many clips from this. And let me go find the video. Ooh, where did I save it at? I might have to bring it up from Facebook. So let me go find the clip. Coach, I need about a minute of time here while I find the clip.
No, you're good, buddy. You're good. I'm glad y'all bring it up. And, another thing I also want to bring up is that as a diehard Yankee fan, it's kind of nice to see that the New York Mets have lost 12 in a row and they haven't even gotten out of April yet. 12 games in a row they have lost. Juan Soto is coming back tonight. Maybe they'll be able to do something, but no team has ever lost 12 in a row and made the postseason. And guess what? No team will do that this year as well. The New York Mets fans, welcome back again to reality, where you have been eliminated after the first pitch of the season. Just like your football team that used to play at Shea Stadium, the New York Jets will be eliminated from the playoffs after opening kickoff. You were eliminated after the first pitch of the season. Let's take a look at this guy running because this is a freaking phenomenal freaking clip.
Phenomenal ending. Just take a look at this.
Get him! Get him! Get him! Get him!
Look how much distance there is. There's the finish line right there. This guy's right up here. The announcers basically is ready to crown the guy in the lead as the winner. And this dude in second place, Joshua Starks, huffing it. Bam! Photo finish right there at the end. I love to see videos like this, and this is an example for anybody watching out there. Like those idiots that drop the football prior to crossing the goal line, people that'll shoot the three and turn around not knowing that it went in, guys that think that they've got the race in the bag only to lose it by somebody who wanted it that much more better. I love it. I love everything about this. I was glad to have seen this video. I've seen this from multiple angles. I'm going to see if I could find the one from the angle where the announcer was talking about it at the end here. But I love it. I love it. Coach, what do you have to say about a clip like this?
You go from start to finish, and nothing is finished until it's over. At first I actually thought like this guy, this was one of those. I'm not gonna. All right, look. The way clips go on social media, there's sometimes where I think there might be a little bit of staging. And the way that this guy was straight up sprinting the last 200 meters of this or 200 yards of this guy's race versus the other dude just, putting his fist up and everything like that towards the end. And, with how fast he was going, if that was a full freaking marathon, I can understand why the guy would be just jogging in like that. But to see that dude sprinting that fast after running 26.18 miles, and the last 0.2 miles, this dude's on a dead ass sprint like he's running the 40 in the combine. I thought it was a little bit of I thought it was a stage type of thing. But knowing that thing is real, man, fucking respect for that dude up there. And I can understand why, some people just lose sight of the target towards the end. Isaiah Thomas had a quote that they said during the 88-89 season or 87-88 season, 48 minutes. And the reason why they said 48 minutes is because for 47 minutes and 55 seconds, they were beating the Celtics. And then 5 seconds left in the game, Bird stole the inbound pass, brought it down to Dennis Johnson, and they end up going with a layup and winning the game against the Pistons. That reminded me of what he was saying, 48 minutes. You go from start to finish. That guy did it from the starting line, but he didn't go into the finish line as the way that he should have. So, yeah, let's see the other angle you got right there, buddy.
There he is! Carson Miller and Joshua Jackson!
Now, I don't know marathon ethics, if you will. Should the announcer have said something, or Is that not his job? And it's the runner's job to like know what's going on behind him to like speed up if he needed to.
No, that's not the announcer's job to say anything. It's the announcer's job to announce what he sees and to get the crowd pumped up for whoever is winning. So the fact that he was looking at what was happening and letting it play in front of him, he shouldn't have said anything about that after that. Like, hey, watch behind you. No, marathon racing is not like, and all right, the Delaware Marathon is not one of the bigger marathons. It's not like New York, or on the day that it was ran, it's not like the Boston Marathon. It's not like the Marine Corps Marathon over in DC or anything like that as far as the runs. It's definitely not a competition just in that way. So there really is nothing as far as, somebody saying that and giving a play-by-play or anything like that. But man, oh man, white dude shouldn't have taken his shirt off.
All right, y'all. In the chat, I've put the Facebook link to the Sports Bar on WTF Nation Radio's Facebook page. Go over and give that page a follow, as that's where we keep a lot of the up-to-date stuff specifically for what we do. But we are a part of WTF Nation Radio. Go over and give WTF Nation Radio a follow as well, as we are one of the largest voices for our military and veterans out there. Coach, next week, Sports Bar Trivia here at WTF Nation Radio.
Oh, yeah.
We have a prize for whoever comes in first place, aka if you can beat me. So stay tuned for the link, for the information on how to join. It is completely free. Pull up.
I should let Nemo come up with no, never mind. Him coming up with answers, I'd beat him anyway.
So Nemo knows nothing sports related, but
yeah, I know.
CQ would love to be the moderator. I might be able to rope him into being the guy that hosts it, comes up with the questions, if you will. I'll talk with him about that tomorrow.
Yeah. I was about to say I'll talk to him in the staff. We'll talk to him in the staff meeting tomorrow if you're going to be there. Just because, I mean, as much as I would love to do this and beat you within an inch of your life, I'd be 15 out of 15, or I'm sorry, he would give me 14 out of 15, because he would have something like, this NFL player was in the Marvel Cinematic Universe as an extra, in fucking one of the movies nobody ever watched, like the fucking Ant-Man and the Wasp or something like that. He'll have something like that. But I would embarrass him, and I would embarrass you if I did that, but it wouldn't be fair. In fact, you know what? I'm going to say this. So, not sure if you saw this, but Joe Buck is about to host a new program on ESPN, Sports Jeopardy. If I could find out how to be a contestant on Sports Jeopardy, I am going to put that in, and I am going to be a contestant on Sports Jeopardy.
Hey, that would be dope. That would be dope to see you on there, getting out there and kicking ass and taking names, if you will. Joe Buck expected to host ESPN Jeopardy. This was announced yesterday. I did not see that news.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Maybe that's dope. Maybe on one of like those veteran days, there'll be a taping and you could throw your hat in the ring for that. Let's make that happen. ESPN, shoot us a message at WTF Nation Radio. We got Coach over here who I think could give y'all a run for your money. All right.
ESPN talent will feature as contestants in this series. Fuck you, ESPN. Suck my fucking goddamn cock. You fucking pieces of shit motherfuckers. I don't want to watch Stephen A. Smith or that fucking chick who blew the fucking coach of the Pistons or the fucking Patriots goddamn fucking playing for their charities. Fuck them. Let fucking real people do this shit. And I'm sure as fuck not watching now that Joe Buck's the host with people who are going to be ESPN talking heads. Fuck you, ESPN. I just saw that shit. ESPN talent will feature as contestants. Fuck you. Get some real fucking people on there. Let me live my fucking dream by embarrassing the fuck out of the United States in this goddamn competition and being the fucking best at the damn sports trivia that has ever fucking lived, instead of having fucking goddamn who the fucking Stephen A and goddamn freaking Pat McAfee going out. You know what? If you're gonna donate to this fucking charity right here, then that's fine. If you donate it to something else, then you can go fuck yourself, ESPN. That just pissed me off. I just read that. You fucking cock-sucking sons of a bitches.
Well, there goes our shot.
And fuck you, Joe Buck. You sucked at baseball. Nobody likes you on Monday Night Football. They had to put the Manning cast on because your ratings were so bad that nobody was watching it because they didn't want to hear you and fucking CTE head talking about football. You arrogant cocksucker. Get the fuck off the fucking TV.
Oh, man. Hey, bitch woman, if you are still here, we're Coach is good for having a rant.
Jesus, I did not plan that rant whatsoever. I did not.
Oh,
There's one where I'm already prepared to go on, and I don't know what way it's going, but I mean, every year I will always have one fucking rant. And this one was a rant that I did not anticipate fucking having tonight. Jesus goddamn fucking Christ. ESPN Jeopardy. I'm going to fucking teabag my ESPN Plus subscription. You can kiss my ass if I'm going to watch that shit.
Hey, thank y'all for tuning in. Quick update. Detroit is leading by 18 points in game 2 over the Magic, 89-70, with 7.5 minutes remaining in the fourth.
Maybe we spoke too soon about Orlando putting up a series.
Right? All right, y'all. This has been the Sports Bar here at WTF Nation Radio. I'm King. That's Coach. I give a salute to y'all out there, and we are out.
Fuck you, Joe Buck.